What's up, y'all? Why'd I do that over my hand? It's your boy. I'm in the kitchen right now. It's a little messy. But my goodness, I was listening to this song, and it's called "Love You to Death" by Josiah Queen. My friend Brogan actually showed it to me, and it was just so challenging. It starts off with talking about how Peter was willing to be crucified upside down, and Stephen was stoned, and he was actually the first martyr, the first Christian martyr, right, of our faith. And all of that, sorry, I just switched hands. I realized my left hand. I don't know what's going on with their wall right there. Jesus makes things clean, but obviously since the wall isn't made in the image of God, it stayed dirty. But he can wipe away your sin. That's a side topic. Sorry. Let me get back on topic. So, actually, importantly, it talks about Peter being willing to be crucified upside down for Jesus, for his faith, for his belief, for the gospel. And Stephen being the first Christian martyr, being willing to die for his faith. And it says, I want to believe in the same gospel that they believed. And it just let me think about it. I'm like, man, these guys were willing to die for it. Like, right after Jesus died on the cross and rose from the grave, Peter was doubting. And obviously, right before Jesus died on the cross, Peter denied 3 times he ever knew Jesus. But something changed. Something changed to where Peter was willing to die upside down on the cross. And all he had to do was do the same thing he had done before. Maybe, just maybe, Jesus decided to breathe again. All that to say, these first believers in Jesus were willing to take their beliefs to the grave. And sometimes I can't even take my beliefs into Walmart when I walk into go buy groceries. Like sometimes I can't even take my beliefs back when I used to go to UF. I couldn't even take my beliefs into school every time. Like sometimes I can't take my beliefs into hard conversation with people that I know disagree with me. When these early church founders and pillars of our faith that we believe in took their faith to people that they knew disagree with them, and then also took their faith so deep to the point to where they were willing to die for it because they couldn't deny what they saw and what they believed. And if we have met Jesus and if we claim that he has radically changed our life and that there is no one like him, and we say that we follow him and we're willing to submit to his leadership in every area of my mind, of my of my heart. Sorry, I'm not. All I got for you is Jesus, bro. Like I'm not inclined really in other stuff, but especially left and right and math and yeah. But if I've trusted my mind with him and my heart with him and my soul, and he is my everything, I would love to say I'm willing to die for him. But then when you look at my life, sometimes I'm not even willing to bring him up in conversations. And it's like, oh my goodness. Well, we believe in the same gospel that Peter believed. That he started off doubting, and he was like, dude, there ain't no way. Ain't no way. I don't know that guy. 3 times he said it. And then when Jesus died and they come back and they try and tell him that, hey, Jesus isn't in the tomb anymore, Peter's like, nah, bro, ain't no shot. I'm going fishing, bro. There ain't no way. But then something changed. Something changed where a discouraged, broken, sad, probably feeling like an outcast because of what he had done type Peter is the situation we find him in. That same guy, literally all he had to do was say the same thing he said. Just, nah, I don't know that guy. There ain't no, nah, he didn't rise from the grave. That's all he had to say. The same thing. He had to just deny him again. But no, he takes it to the grave. Something changed. And man, will we believe in that same gospel? Will we allow the reality of the resurrection and the beauty of the crucifixion and what it does for us, making us right with God, will we allow that to transform us to the point to where we're willing to take it to death? And that may mean death socially. That may mean that not everyone's going to like you, okay? That may mean death when it comes to like being popular, you know? Not everyone thinks that not having sex with people before marriage is cool. Not everyone thinks that not getting blackout wasted is cool. Not everyone thinks that not going to that party is cool. Not everyone thinks that not smoking weed and finding your satisfaction in drugs is cool. Not everyone thinks that not cussing is cool. Not everyone thinks that not listening to rap music that makes women out to be basically like items that you can play with is cool. Like that's not cool to not like all those things, you know, or to slap I love God on a bumper sticker to where I can listen to country music because all those people follow Jesus. Not true at all. It's not cool to do all those things. But man, if there were people that were willing to die, literally, physically, for the faith, we should be able to die socially. We should be able to die when it comes to our popularity, when it comes to our natural desires and our flesh. If they died literally physically, why can't we die to our flesh spiritually? It was such a challenge in my head that I was thinking about. I'm like, man, like as I struggle with lust, as I struggle with pride, as I struggle with selfishness and all of these things, I'm like, man, I'm sitting here trying to crucify my flesh for the gospel, and Peter's flesh was literally crucified for the gospel. There's levels to this commitment to Jesus thing, and man, I am like fighting to be more and more committed daily, and to let him lead my life, and to surrender to his lordship, and to allow humility to be what pushes me into his arms. But my goodness, like think about that. Like seriously, if you remember anything of what I'm saying, think about that. We try and crucify our flesh. Peter's flesh was crucified. Like there's levels to the things that we are trying to do in pursuit of the gospel. We're crucifying like I need to get off my phone. Like I don't need to be on it for 6 hours a day. We're crucifying, oh my goodness, I need to put a time limit on social media. My boy Peter, he had to spread his arms and put his feet together and have them nailed to a cross for his faith. Like I'm pretty sure if he could do that, then the least we can do, being also followers of Jesus, just like Peter was, is crucify our flesh, since it doesn't have to literally be nailed to a cross. If he had such faith that he was willing to die for it, the least we can do is die to ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, and so that's just what I was kind of thinking. I was like, man, what I believe in the gospel, in the faith, in the reality of the resurrection, and like I said, the beauty of the crucifixion and what it means for us as believers, in the same way that the early church founders did, the disciples did, where they were willing to die for it because they knew that, man, I don't know what to tell you, bro. But if you're telling me I got to say this didn't happen, you just go ahead and kill me, bro. Like, I don't know how to tell you that my Savior was on a cross. And then I remember putting him in the tomb and the stone being rolled. And then I remember like breath leaving his body. And then I see the nail scars in his wrists and his feet 3 days later. And I can tell that it's him. And there's just nothing like that. That's what they believe. That's what led them to do that. And if we believe Jesus, if we believe in what he's done and we've met him, you may have not physically seen him standing in front of you, but you had the biggest heart hug in all of humanity because his love entered your life. And so while we may have not seen him physically, we have seen him in every single category. And we should be willing to go to death for our faith. But since we don't have to, and we live in the beautiful confines of America, and there is freedom of speech and freedom of religion, we should at least be willing to crucify our flesh and tell people about the gospel, since we don't have to die for it. So just a challenge. There were people that die for the faith that you get to just casually believe in and publicly live in every single day. Don't take it for granted. I don't need to take it for granted either. I struggle with it. This is a message to myself, to Hayden. Don't take it for granted. Tell people about Jesus. They need him so badly. This world is so broken, and as I've been evangelizing with this group of people that I've been doing it, I've been realizing more and more how much people need Jesus, and more how much I need him too. So I challenge you, I urge you, I encourage you, all the words to you. Don't take it for granted that you get to talk about Jesus publicly and not die for it, because some people had to. So the least we can do is die to ourselves, die to our flesh, and live for him, because Jesus thought that you, on the other side of the screen, right there, right there, he thought you were worth dying for. And if he thought you were worth dying for, then that should at least change your mind to where you should think that he's worth living for. So, yeah, I challenge you to that. I love you. Have a great day. Be bold for the gospel. And don't let your flesh win today. Pursue righteousness, and that is only found in the name of Jesus. because he's the one who makes you righteous. So let him lead. And yeah, peace out, rainbow trout. Ooh, love y'all.